Alright guys, we got a Whirlpool washer here, and what we're dealing with is customer stated that the machine is very bouncy, not completing the cycle. So we're going to push down on the basket. I'm going to push down each corner, and you can see it's kind of in between. So I like to do each corner, and then you do the middle. Now this washer is only a year and a half, not old at all, so shouldn't see this yet. Usually 4 years for Whirlpool rods to act up, but it depends on how heavy and how often you do your laundry. So we're going to push down on the centerpiece, and I'm going to leave the phone here so you can see the movement that we're getting. So it's bouncy. Okay, we do getting some body movement, but it's not super bad. So we're going to put some clothing in, and the customer said I can dump this basket, so I'm going to dump this basket in and put it in for a quick spin, and I want to see what it does. All right, so let's see. All right, so we got a full basket right now. Now this is not wet clothing, so it's not going to be as heavy. So another thing that can cause your washer to act up, bouncing, is overloading. Now this is overloaded. If this was wet and it was like this, yes, that's too much. You're gonna kill your washer, and it's not gonna last you as long. So keep that in mind. In fact, after this, I'm gonna show you how much you should actually have in here. Don't overload. So we have the top up, and we're gonna press start. Alright, so now the washer is going to kick into high-speed spin. So far, so good. And again, they're not wet, so we're going to go into high-speed spin, and I want to see what it's going to do. But these things, your tub hub as well, if it's loose, that could cause issues, meaning the drum is not turning as true as it should. You have a wobble. So if you do have a wobble where the tub hub is damaged, it doesn't matter how much you replace the rods, you will still have that issue. So now make sure everything is balanced like this is, and I'm gonna turn now. Pretty soon you're gonna see it into high-speed spin, and want to see how it performs. All right, so now it's draining, and it's gonna spin again. The washer did not bounce, did not hit the wall, none of that. So I'm going to take, like I said, you don't want to have your washer just full, not with wet clothing, okay? I always tell customers, don't go past this line, but if anything, in between the dimples. There's a set of dimples or lines, like the in between there. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this go for a wash, let the water fill up, and then put it in for a drain and spin and see how it performs. I'm not totally convinced that these rods are bad. They're getting there. It's only a year and a half, and the way the machine bounces, it's kind of fast, but it's in between. Usually when they're totally bad, it's super bouncy, and this one is in between. So I'm like 50, almost 50-50 on it. If I had to make a gander, I would probably replace them, just because the machine has been overloaded so many times. So if you make it a habit of overloading your units like that or higher, yes, you might need new rods. Do not buy the Amazon knockoffs. They're garbage. You're going to be wasting your time. So we're going to put some water in, get the closing all wet, and then we're going to do a drain and spin and see what it does. Let's do heavy. All right, so press and hold to turn off. Spin. All right. And heavy is going to be more water as well, so keep that in mind. A lot of times you can do normal. It's the same amount of agitation power. You might get less water. So heavy equals more water and, of course, more weight. All right, so we're letting water in, and you can see the rods, they're definitely getting a workout. And pretty soon we're going to be agitating, and then, there we go. So you take a look, when you overload and you don't have enough water, your clothes aren't really being moved, just the bottom. So what you want is enough water to be able to basically pull the top down to the bottom, which is what usually is going to happen. But if you don't have enough water, for example, let's say the cold is not filling properly, by the time the machine gets to actually washing, the cycle has moved on and the clothing are not even being washed properly. So you do need the water to be able to, the buoyancy to lift them up and then suck them under and then flip them up. So we're going to watch it just for a minute. Alright guys, I wanted to do a quick talk about, now I'm watching that pink towel, okay? Now this washer is on heavy, and this is a good sized load. In fact, this should not even be loaded this much, I hate to say it. The machine can hold it, but it's not handling it properly. Now, I always say half in here, which is not bad. So in fact, we're pretty much where we should be. We shouldn't be over this. But I would still like to see it with a little less, okay? But if you push down, this washer is pretty much almost on the floor, okay? The rods have nothing else to give. Look at that. There's nowhere else for them to go, okay? So that's overloaded. They can't move anymore. So they're maxed out. Keep that in mind. So now when this machine is loaded, and it's spinning, the rods which are designed to mimic or absorb the impact from the spinning, are now invalid because there's nothing to absorb the vibration, so the machine starts to shake. So far with washing, it's not rubbing on the ground. You can check sometimes by turning it, sliding it sideways, and if it's overloaded to the point to where it hits the ground, you'll hear it. We do have a little movement here as well. You see that? I noticed that it's more evident when the drum is loaded. Definitely. And that could cause some movement as well. So, yeah, for sure. All right, so we're actually going to do a drain. Actually, you know what? I was going to take some clothing out, but I want to see how it performs first. So we're going to do a drain and spin. Then we're going to take some out and see if that stops the shaking. So we're going to do drain and spin. I'll bring you back in. All right, so now we're going to do drain. We already did the drain. We're going to do the spin, and let's see how she performs. Lid lock. Lock again. Beautiful. Another thing, guys, look. With the water out, you have some movement, okay? A lot better. Before, you had no movement with the water. You see how it shook less as the water was leaving? And of course you want to make sure everything is placed evenly. All right, you see it. Clearly the machine is not able to handle the load. So we're going to reduce the size and we're going to see. All right, let's take some stuff out. All right, some stuff is out. Got him there. We're going to try again. Less load. Let's see. All right, so we're gonna take some more out. Towels are heavy, by the way. Blankets are heavy. Just remember that. So for a good wash, you want to see the water pretty much above the clothing and the clothes actually able to move in the water. Most people overload. This is actually pretty good. All right, one more time. We're gonna check and we're gonna see how bad it is just with less clothing. That's the first spin section. We're gonna go in now for the last. And as you can see, washer's doing like it's supposed to. The rods are able to do their job, but when they're overloaded, the machine is just not able to do it. So don't make it a habit to stuff your machine. This washer is 1.5 years. You should not be seeing this, so it's clearly a overload issue and not the rods. Yes, the rods are weak, but they still have some life left in them, and I'll explain to the customer and see if she wants to go ahead and replace them. If she tends to do larger loads, then yes, they will have to be replaced because the damage is already done, or they're more like fatigue, but you can still do your load. I mean, look at that. All right, so I want to watch it again and see what it does, but it should, so far so good.